friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny and I am so not an expert. Today I am so excited because we are going to be working on another quilt block video today. For those of you not already familiar, the quilt block videos are a series of video tutorials making a single block from a book by Quilt Masters called The 1,000 Blocks Book. Now this book has been so much fun so far. We've made I think 3 blocks already and this one will be our 4th, so I'm really excited. This book has so many different types of techniques and that's why I've absolutely loved it so far. We've got regular piecing blocks, we've got some paper piecing blocks, where there's some applique, and then there's even some mixed technique ones that we'll get into as we get more and more. So each of these blocks I am making 2 of each one. You guys can make 1 if you want, or you can make 2, or you can just enjoy the videos, whichever you prefer. The idea is that eventually we will have enough blocks to put together a sample quilt with all of these different pieces. So I'm really excited for that. So today's block is called Split Decision, and I love this block. It is a traditional piecing block. There's nothing super fancy about it. It's got some half square triangles in it that we're going to be working with, but that's okay. Let me show you guys what this thing looks like. It is so pretty. Look at this. Don't you just love it? I absolutely love it. It is going to be so much fun to make. So let's get these pieces cut up and then I'll meet you guys at the machine. See you soon. Hi friends, so like I mentioned before, we're going to be working with some half square triangles. So I went ahead and took one of my white chalk pencils and I went ahead and marked corner to corner on all of my smaller square pieces, just so that I have those marked and ready to go when we need. It's an extremely faint line, but it should be just enough for us to use when we're sewing. So the very first step is we're going to make half square triangles. So we're going to use the larger square pieces in our background fabric and our print fabrics, one of each, and we're going to be making some half square triangles. I'm going to go ahead and sew 1/4 inch on either side of the line that I've just drawn. I'm going to go ahead and flip out my pressure foot for this one. I'm going to be using white thread so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to sew 1/4 inch on either side. All right, now we're just going to slice these right down the center of the line that we just drew. And that is going to give us 2 half square triangles of each print. Right. I'm going to press these towards the dark and then trim off the dog ears, and I'll show you what our next steps are. All right, our half square triangles are done for right now. We're going to set those aside and we'll come back to those in just a minute. The next thing we want to do is we want to take our longer rectangle pieces in our 2 prints. And then we're going to take the smaller square pieces of our 2 prints and we're going to put them opposites. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that triangle line or that diagonal line that we drew and we're going to attach these to the edge of one side. And we're going to do this in opposites. So on this one, I'm going to go from top to bottom. And then on these over here, I'm going to go from bottom to top so that they are opposites. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and sew these up right on the line, or just to the right or left of the line, so that we can get them folded over. let's get these sewn up together. All right, now I got to do the other ones going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to flip them over this way. Okay, now we just separate them all. Now we're going to press all of these small small squares towards the outside. So we're trying to make that's what we're trying to do. I'm going to press all these up, and then we're just going to trim off the bulk in the back. Now, because we've sewn these opposites, we'll have some going this way, the corner there, and then we'll have some going the opposite way. Okay, got all of those trimmed up now. Just like to lay them together, because otherwise I get confused easily. All right. The next thing we need to do is we need to go back to those half square triangles that we made a little bit earlier, and we need to make these into a 4-patch. So we're going to do opposites, corners, just like this, and sew those up together. So I'm just going to chain piece this together really, really quick. We're going to press them opposite directions. So one is going to go to the left and the other one is going to go to the right. And then we're going to nest up those seams and sew the two pieces together. Okay, that will be our center block. So I'm just going to go ahead and press that real quick, make sure it lays nice and flat for us as we're working with it. There we go. And that's going to be our center square. All right, the next thing we need to do is make the pieces that go around the edge of the center square. To do that, we're going to need these long strips that we had before and these triangle pieces. And we're going to first we're going to sew these two long strips together so that the two smaller pieces make a triangle in the center. So I'm just going to take these two here, line them up as best I can, and sew them all together. Okay, now that those are all sewn up together, we want to press them all the same direction. So I'm going to press them all going towards the left. I'm sorry, the right. Okay. Now we need to attach these triangle pieces to this. We need 2 triangles to 1 rectangle. So we're going to take one of these rectangles and we're going to attach 2 triangle pieces edges to the sides like this. Now don't worry about all this extra overhang. We're going to trim that off later, so don't worry about it right now. Right now we just want to make sure that our edges line up the way we want to, and we want to make 2 of these. One for the left side and one for the right side. And I'll show you what we're going to do for the rest of it. So let's go ahead and get these together first. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and press these. Now I'm going to press these away from the center and towards that thinner fabric because of the amount of bulk that's there. So I'm just going to press this one like this, turn it around and press the other one the same way, like that. And do the same thing with this other piece as well. Okay, so there's 2 of our pieces there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the last 2 of our edge pieces and we're going to attach them to our center square. So we're going to do opposite sides. So I'm going to attach this one to this side and then the other one to the other side. My machine is probably going to not be happy with this bulk, so I'm going to grab my purple thing to help me. Now with the center block, we're going to actually press these seams towards the center. Just hold these here. Grab my hot iron, smush them down. And do the other side as well. All right, and now all that is left to do is assemble these pieces together. So this is our center strip, our center row, if you will. And then we're going to attach one to the bottom and one to the top. And our center seams will match up. They won't necessarily nest because of the way we've pressed our seams, but all of these seams will actually meet up together, making it easy to assemble the block. After that, then we just trim the block to the desired length, which in this case, the finished block will be 12.5 by 12.5. I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces together, and then I'll show you guys what the final block looks like. Okay, friends, this is what our block looks like so far. You can see the edges are all kind of kicked out there. So we need to trim those down, and that is our very last step. So I've got my mat set up here, and I'm going to go ahead and I've got a 12.5 inch ruler that I am going to use to trim up these pieces. Do one edge at a time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up center square here at 6 1/4. 6 1/4. I'm going to line up the center section, the center intersection here at 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I'm going to use that as my guide to trim up my edges. Here's my first edge. Spin. Again, 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. This one I don't necessarily need to line up at 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. I could just use the edges of the block because it should be 12 1/2 now, which is the size of this ruler. Just to triple check and make sure all my measurements are correct, I see my 45-degree line still runs up from corner to corner. My center is at 6 1/4. All of my edges match all the way around. Just going to trim up this one edge here. And that, my friends, is it. Ta-da! There we go. I hope you guys had as much fun making this block as I did. I will put a link in the description box below to the playlist for our other block party blocks. I am having a lot of fun with these, and I hope that you are too. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to click that like button. We do live streams on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, and you just never know what kind of projects we're going to be working on there. All right, guys, I will see you again really soon. Thank you again, and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.